Hello, everyone, and welcome to the class. This is David A. Cox with TechTalkAmerica.com, and today it is my pleasure to share with all of you one of my favorite creative apps for the iPad. It's called ArtRage. It is perfect for people of all ages. It's a lot of fun. I think you're going to love it. Now, ArtRage does several different things well, but we're going to focus today on one very specific thing, which is the ability to transform your photos into amazingly realistic paintings that you can have printed, even put on canvas, which I've done myself a few times, and they really look terrific. So what better way for me to show you how effective it is than to show you a before and after image? So let me start with this. This is a photo that I shot with my aerial drone. This is the before image, obviously. Okay, nice little covered bridge in Vermont. And when I was done turning this into a painting, which is a manual process, this is the final result. Now, if you're not watching this video in high def, you may not be able to see how incredibly detailed this is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pinch and zoom in a little bit so you can really see some of the structure here. But this really does, in fact, look like an actual painting. And if I kind of move around here, you'll see all of those same types of textures and brush strokes that you would see in a normal painting do appear here. And when I've turned these into paintings, I've not done this specific one. I have 3 of them in my living room right now. Most people, when they see them, cannot actually tell that it was painted on an iPad. And when I tell them that, usually their minds are blown. And the first thing they want to know is, how did I do it? So I thought I'd share that with all of you today. So we're going to be using ArtRage in order to accomplish this. So if you haven't downloaded it, it is a paid app. They make a version for the iPhone, the iPad, and the Mac. I tend to think that the only version worth purchasing is really the version for the iPad. The iPhone one is just, frankly, too small a screen to work with. The one on the Mac, it's okay if you decide to go out and buy a lot of accessories, so that you can have a tablet that you can draw on that corresponds with your computer. But for me, ArtRage for iPad is the perfect fit. So let's go into it. So when you first launch ArtRage, you're going to be brought either to where you last left off, or most likely this location, which is the gallery. This is where you can save your paintings as you go and create them. And one of the things I love is that they do give you a lot of ability to export these. So if you want to send it to something like Dropbox, or just save it as a PNG or as a JPEG, all of those are options. For us, though, what we're going to do is start with that little plus symbol you see at the very top right, which in most Mac products means add a new something. And there's a few options here. You can create a new painting. A new painting is if you're just going to start from scratch. So for those of you who are way more artistically talented than I am, that's where you might want to go. For us, though, we're going to go into import image. And you can pull these images from several different locations, including Adobe Creative Cloud, Dropbox, or from your photo library, which is what we're going to do. So I have a simple photo that I kind of preloaded here. Just because I knew it would be very easy to do. It's going to say, where do you want to put it? We're just going to put it in the gallery. And now we're going to simply tap on it and hit the edit button at the bottom right. Now this photo is actually shot on my iPhone, and then in addition to that, it's cropped. So we're dealing with actually a very small aspect of this photo here, but I thought for demonstration purposes, this would be pretty good. Now, when you're turning your photos into paintings, there's really probably only 2 tools that you see here on the left that you'll likely actually use. The palette knife, and also you can add additional color in the form of digital oil, if you will, to just kind of touch it up and give it that, realism or when I say realism, I mean make it look like an actual painting. So I've tapped already on the palette knife, and depending on what kind of an image you're dealing with here, you can change the width of the palette knife. Now, a smaller width means you're going to be dealing with finer detail. So if you have very fine little details to it, you're going to want to deal with a very small palette knife. In the case of this, we can actually do some broader strokes. So I'm going to change it from 50% just by tapping on it to maybe 60% for this particular one. And now just simply with your finger, you can just kind of stroke over the image. You can see here I'm starting with the sky. And one of the things I'll do a lot is I'll add things into my painting as I'm going through this. Now, when you're dealing with something like, if you look at the horizon there, it's a very small area to deal with. So what I'll usually do for this is I will use my fingers and I will pinch them apart, okay, just like you would in Safari, if you were going to zoom into a screen. And I just try to make one single stroke go across. That way you get that perfect line. It still looks like a painting, but this way the colors don't blend so much. You can see there actually are a couple of different colors there that we're dealing with. And then you're going to just kind of go through the whole image and just start to kind of add some texture to it. So if I really punch in here on the sky, you can see we have some structure here that's starting to appear. Now, if you don't like it or if you want to mix it up, this is where adding additional oil can really help you. So to do this, what you would do is you first want to figure out what color you're going to want. So if you look there at the very bottom right corner, that is going to be your selector. So you can go through here with your finger and you can choose what color you want. I'm just going to add some white, just kind of change it up a little bit. And now I'm going to tap over here on the oil, and I'm just going to pull back on my image, and I'm just going to add a few little dots of it here and there. And when I use my palette knife, and those of you who actually are artists will see how this really does resemble what would happen with an actual painting. Check out what it does. It just kind of gives it this really nice blend effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a few minutes. I'm going to fast forward the video for all of you so you don't have to wait here with me. And I'm just going to go through and just kind of mark up this entire painting. And then you'll, of course, see the after image in just a moment. Now, before I actually do that, one little tip I would like to give you is if you ever make a mistake, and of course it can be easy to make a mistake, and this is where digital painting certainly has its advantages, there is an undo button. If you look there at the bottom left, there's an arrow pointed towards the left. That the more times you tap it, the more times it'll go back into the past. So, for example, it's going to be easy to screw up this little boat here if I'm not really careful. Like that right there, that's a pretty big stroke for an entire boat. So I'm going to hit undo, and I'm going to change the size of the palette knife. I'm going to go this time to maybe even just 10%. And so with this, I can really zoom in. I'm at 800% zoomed in right now. And I'm just going to do these really teeny tiny little strokes just to get it the way I like it. And when I zoom out, you see it actually looks pretty good right there. So let's fast forward the video and you'll see the after image. And voila, there you have it. We have the final image. One thing you'll notice is that when I get close to these boats, I try to do very, very fine strokes. And if you do decide to get these printed on canvas, one of the things you really want to do is very finely comb through the painting, especially like edges. Like right down here, it's very easy to miss edges, and that can be kind of a dead giveaway that this is, a digital painting. So just really go through it very, very highly zoomed in and make sure that you have every single square pixel covered, if you will. And there you have it, a little piece of artwork that you can hang in your home. Now, there are a lot of different companies out there that offer services to print these kinds of images on canvas. And I've tried several of them over the years, and I've been really happy with some and not so happy with others. So the two that I tend to recommend to people, you'll find links to both of them in the description of the video. And I hope you have fun with this. One last little thing. If you really do get into this, there are two pretty accessories that you can get for your iPad. There are two different types of styluses, stylusi, whatever. But you can check those out as well. One is an actual paintbrush, which is pretty cool. It's not the least expensive accessory in the world, but it is pretty cool. So I hope you enjoy it. Have fun. Leave us a comment below. Hit that little like button if you're watching us on YouTube, and we'll see you soon. This is David A. Cox with Tech Talk America. Class dismissed.